Plants and animals are adapted to different environment. Getting started, look at the photographs given below. Which picture depicts which one is a hot and wet environment and which picture depicts which is a cold environment. Talk about which animals live in these pictures and suggest what these animals might eat. The photograph A depicts that it's a hot and wet environment because there are a lot of trees and plants are growing, so there must be a lot of water and sun. B shows that it's a cold environment as we can see there is some snow and very little plant growth. In the hot, wet environment, chimpanzees, monkeys, snakes, birds, tigers, etc. are very common. In the cold environment, bears, reindeer, foxes, eagles, and mice are common. In the hot and wet environment, animals eat fruits, nuts, and leaves from the trees. In the cold environment, the animals living there eat other animals and grass. Adaptations of plants and animals in hot, dry environment. Adaptation means that there are features that help the plants and animals to live in their environment. In a hot and dry environment, there is very little water. The small amount of rain dries up quickly because of the heat. Plants and animals are adapted to these conditions in such a way that they use very little water and still survive. An example would be the cactus plant, and another is a camel. Camels possess long eyelashes to keep the sand out of their eyes. They have thick lips so that they can eat thorny desert plants. Camels have a hump that stores fat for energy. This is why they can survive for a week or more without water and food. White tough feet, for they can walk on hot sand more easily. Smaller animals like rats, lizards also live in the hot, dry areas. They dig burrows to stay in during the hot days. When it is a bit cooler, especially at night, they come out of their burrows. Here's a list of sentences that were incomplete, but please complete it by referring to the above slides and then refer to these answers. Adaptation of plants and animals in wet environment. Water lilies and lotus plants live in water. They have adaptations such as large flat leaves which float on the water surface, big air spaces in the leaves and stems so they can float, and leaves can absorb sunlight at the water surface. Weak stems because the water supports the plant, small roots because the plant is in water all the time and doesn't need to be anchored by the soil. Fish are adapted to their environment because they have gills. Gills allow fish to absorb the oxygen from water. Fins allow the fish to move through water. It helps in movement. Many birds, such as the ducks and geese, swim in water. They have webbed feet to help them do this. This is like wearing flippers when you go swimming. Seabirds have waterproof feathers so that they can dive for food. Seabirds also have special glands that get rid of the salt that they might take in when they drink seawater. Flamingos live in shallow water environment. Their long thin legs allow them to walk through water easily. Their long flexible necks allow them to reach for food below the water surface. Adaptations of plants and animals in cold environments. There are very cold environments in the far north and the far south of the world. Remember that these are the regions that have very long summers but also very long dark winter days. There is not much rain, but there is a lot of snow in winter. Some animals, like the polar bear, have very thick fur to keep them warm. But during the winter season, when there is no food, some animals either hibernate or they migrate. The soil in cold regions freezes during the winters, but as the summer comes, the few layers of the soil that has frozen melts. Trees and other animals have adaptations for these conditions. For example, trees have resin on their bark. This is a sticky substance that helps to keep the tree warm and prevents the tree from losing its moisture. Here are a few more questions to test your knowledge based on the given information. So please re-watch the video if necessary and try answering these questions. The answers are already given for your reference.